Hello everyone, welcome to Learnetude. So today's question is we have to choose one word substitute. So which of the options A, B, C and D mean humor that describes the weaknesses? So what do we mean by humor? Humor is a noun which means the quality of being amusing or comic, especially as expressed in literature or speech. So humor has two spellings. This is the British English spelling, and in American English you drop the U and becomes humor. This is the American English spelling. Alright? An example of humor I can give is the new book that I'm reading these days is full of humor. So, humor is the ability to find things funny. That is the way in which people see that some things are funny or the quality of being funny. For example, a very common phrase is sense of humor. For example, Karthik has got a great sense of humor. That is, he is very able to see things as funny. And in Hindi, we can call humor as hasya. So in short, humor is a noun of amusement. I hope now the meaning of humor is clear to you. So, humor that describes the weaknesses. And what about the word weakness? What do you mean by that? This is also a difficult word. So, weakness is a noun. Firstly, it is the condition or state of being weak. Means you're fragile. It can be a thing or it can be a living organism. Some things are fragile in nature, they are weak. For example, glass. They are delicate in nature, they can break easily, so they are weak in nature. And also sometimes living beings or living organisms, they also show weakness. That is, they are not strong on some days due to illness or health issues, etc. So first meaning of this is a state of being weak or fragile. And second is a disadvantage or fault. That's the meaning of weakness. For example, strength and weakness are the two very popular terms. You must have heard this term quite a lot, especially in interviews when the interviewer asks you your strength and your weakness. So strength is a positive trait or a skill or an attribute that give an advantage to someone, and weakness can be the negative aspects on skills or some traits which are underdeveloped and which can hinder the progress or your work, right? So strength and weakness is many times used in the self-assessment, and especially by the employers. These are asked a lot. And another example of weakness can be some desires or objects or wishes For example, John has a weakness for chocolates, right? Some people have a weakness for pizza or some sweet, right? So humor that describes the weaknesses. So what humor, kind of a humor which can describe or which describes the disadvantages or the defects or faults of something. So which option, A, B, C and D, which word means humor that describes the weaknesses? So first option number A is melody. Melody is a noun and it means a sequence of single notes that is musically satisfying, or in short, it is a tune. For example, Gia played a sweet melody on her piano. So melody is related to music and it is not related to humor or some weakness. So this is the wrong answer. What about option number B, comedy? Well, comedy, a very popular genre and a word. So comedy is a movie or a play, or it can be a book or a piece of text or writing that is intentionally funny, either in its characters or its actions. For example, I love to watch comedy movies. So option number B, comedy. Most of you might submit this as the answer and mark it as the right answer. Let's hold it for now and put a question mark here. Why? Because we have to see the options C and D as well. It is true that humor and comedy are somewhere related to each other. Both of them are music and have comic in them, and both of them have funny characteristics, right? So option number C is satire. So satire in Hindi, we can call it as vyangya. So satire is a noun and it is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or their vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. For example, I watched a movie which had a satire on pollution. So satire is a way of criticizing people or ideas in a humorous way, especially in order to make a political point or a piece of writing that uses this style. If you are criticizing something, if you are pinpointing the problems or areas or the defects or faults of something, then humor is a very good way to express your feelings or express your intentions or raise a voice against injustice. So many good writers use satire in their writings or in their speeches, and sometimes good politicians, good celebrities also use satires. Good journalists use satires to bring out the problems in the society which need to be solved, right? So the correct answer here, more than comedy, is option number C, satire. So satire is the correct answer. Why? While both comedy and satire involve humor, satire is specifically defined by its purpose, using humor, irony, or exaggeration to expose and criticize human weaknesses, vices, or stupidity. So satire is done on purpose or is used on purpose, while comedy can be used as an amusement or an entertainment, right? So satire is done purposely, on purpose, deliberately, often with the intention or aim to provoke a change or highlight social and political issues. In literature, satire is a very popular genre. So satire is the right answer. But what about option number D? Let's also take a look at it. So option number D is laurel, which is a noun, and it is an aromatic, evergreen, or a glossy shrub with dark green leaves. And laurel is also, second meaning of laurel is also honor or a praise awarded for an achievement. So it is not at all related to humor that describes the weaknesses or a given question, and it is a shrub or a plant. So this is or an award, right? So this is laurel is not the right answer. So the correct answer is satire. Satire is a humor that describes the weaknesses. I hope you found this lesson helpful. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.